Welcome to this weekly review number 15. Now, as you can see, the environment is not the same. This time, the video won't be as professional as the other weekly reviews. Unfortunately, this morning I came across a microphone and laptop pairing issue. I tried to resolve it for 2 straight hours, but I didn't come across any successful results, and therefore this weekly review will be like this, of a lesser quality, but of the same amount of value. This time, I will change the structure of it a little bit. From now on, I will do half of it with just clips from podcasts that I listened and that I found interesting, and then some talk about these, and the other part would be about lessons from my own life, from my own experiences, as well as some interesting stories if I have any. For this week, I've listened to 3 podcasts in total. Also listened to a couple more, but the other ones are not that interesting. The ones that I want to mention are the following ones. The first one that I want to mention is the podcast of Modern Wisdom, of course, Williamson, that interviewed Gurwinder Bogle, a man that is a writer mainly. And they talked about psychology. They talked about 17 lessons. Most of them had great value, but one specific lesson stuck to me. Take a listen at it.
I find that it's hard to extricate my beliefs from the time and place in which I'm living. My beliefs seem to be quite local to where I'm living in time and space. My solution to this problem is to try to find beliefs that are as universal as possible.
If you are outputting more than you are inputting, all that you're doing is just saying the same things over and over again, and you end up becoming a caricature of yourself.
It does seem to me that what has been said is very truthful. It has a lot of value to it, and is not something that we would think about on our free time. Our mind is made in a way that we can have an output that is dependent of our input, of our information that we have absorbed. If we do not have that critical thinking, where we analyze that knowledge that we just gained, then we don't even question ourselves if our beliefs are right. But we should. We all are living in special circumstances. We all live through special events. And we all are formulating our faith, our beliefs, our own truths. But it is always remember to ask yourself, if this specific concept is real, would you believe in it if you were in another space and time? And thinking a little bit more about that, I do think that a lot of people tend to search for one absolute law for life. That was what I was doing till now. For many days, I was trying to figure out a law that would be possible for us all to follow, that would include all type of mindsets. But even with the help of ChatGPT, that arguably has most of the human knowledge, at least the human language, it still didn't give me a clear answer. That showed to me that there is no one absolute law that would tell everything, that would answer to all of our questions. There is none. There are plenty of mini laws that we could follow, many concepts that are truths. And it is better to seek for those than to seek for one absolute truth, one absolute belief that we might never in our life reach, and then be mistaken for the entirety of it. It is better than to always think about your beliefs, try to find out new things, try to challenge your ancient beliefs whenever you get the occasion to. And now, the other podcast that I want to mention is from The Diary of a CEO, where Stephen interviewed Dr. Aditi Nerurkar, which is a psychiatrist, but surprisingly, throughout the majority of this interview, where they discuss mental health and things of such sorts, this psychiatrist focused more on the physical side of things to explain and try to solve the mental health issues that humanity is facing nowadays. This is something that I still not fully grasp. I still don't know the true answer, whether deep psychology or the biology of a human is more important. It is clear that we need both of them, and there are plenty of good arguments for both sides. Here is an interesting idea that this psychiatrist presented.
And this is new cutting edge information. Most people don't know this. But there are these tiny things in our cells called mitochondria. And they are actually the primary sites in our cells that food and oxygen are getting converted into energy or building blocks for our cells.
At the end of the day, he says that mitochondria are the most important things for our bodies to take care of. This energy that they provide us, that of course let us live, this energy is crucial for our lives. And that is true. I have experienced and seen throughout my daily life that whenever I consume high quantities of food, whenever I consume too much calories or a lot of carbohydrates, after some time I get very sleepy. My energy levels get lower than my baseline, and I lose all strength to fight the hard times. All that I want to do is to get a nap, to get some instant gratification, to do what is easy. Going outside, being in the nature would also be considered as instant gratification. But this one is different. When you go outside, you feel pleasure. You do feel happy. You got some dopamine. But there's something different. I still don't have the answer to white air, breathing, being outside, walking, looking at the sun, at the nature. Add something to life. I still don't know why exactly it is like that. But all that this does is bringing good to our lives. But with the example of the food that I said, or when I sleep badly and I feel tired throughout the rest of the day when I don't have a lot of energy, I never feel like doing anything that is of value to me, to humanity. And so solving mental health is not as simple as it may sound. We cannot simply try to fix our psychology. In the meantime, we have to care of our physical self, of our energy levels, of our baseline. Also, listen to another podcast of Chris Williamson, The Modern Wisdom, where he interviewed Joe Dispenza. In fact, I'm reading a book written by this man. This book has great value. I would recommend it to all of you. I just began it. I will do a full review when I finish it, because even after the first 10% that I read from that book, I already had a lot of new lessons. And it does seem to have answers that I never thought could be achievable. As for the podcast, it has so many great thoughts that I have to listen a second time at it. I don't feel that after listening at it once, I already managed to grab the good out of it. And I didn't manage to fully understand some of the things that this man said. This part then about podcasts is done. But this past week, I did not encounter any interesting situations. I want to talk about one topic, though, and it is video games. This past week, I played a lot of the game Lethal Company. I played it for communication reasons. I wanted to improve my communication, and I saw that it did unleash quite a important part of my potential. Just quickly re-mentioning the first podcast that I mentioned on this video. At the end of that podcast, the writer said that he's writing a very interesting article of 5,000 words about gamifying everything in your life. And that concept is very interesting to me. And I think that it could be very useful. And connecting it to me playing the game, I saw that I was getting better at the game, and it wasn't that hard. And I began applying it to my life. Just tracking my habits, changing my thoughts, and looking at myself from a perspective, looking at myself as a player in this endless world that we are living in. And even if this week wasn't that eventful, I still had the opportunity of being kind of free. Just buying food, not looking at how much I spend, having a flat for me alone, having a bed, having warmth, water, all of the primary needs to my disposition. Having nature, peace, tranquility. In essence, I have it all. And some of us humans, are now experiencing very harsh conditions, are dying for no reason, or left alone, or disregarded, disrespected. That is not fair, and I'm grateful for the possibility to live the life that I'm living. But in the same time, I'm ashamed to talk about this, to say that I am living such a great life when other people aren't. And some days, some hours, I just hate where I am, hate my life. But why? How dare I? All of this is just a lot to digest. I'm not happy that we as humans are not one. We as humans have plenty of different societies, that some of us live good, some of us live as if here would be hell. Thank you for listening to this weekly review, which obviously was of low quality, but I didn't have much choice to do here. And let's finish this review with a minute of silence for those that are having a hard time. I'll see you next week.